Hi guys, and thank you for joining me. So today I'm going to be sharing a short clip. It's about 3.5 minutes long, I think, from a piece that's actually about 8 minutes long. And it's part of this infamous solo album that I've been talking about making and finishing for the last 3 years or so. And anyone out there who knows what it's like to sort of self-fund a project, it's really hard. You can only pull in so many favours from people, and I've still got a few favours to pull in, mind. But yeah, it's hard. And the other day I was going through some of the tracks, and I'm excited to get them finished, get them out there, get some more of my friends playing on them, some of my friends sort of producing them as well, and engineering. That's a pleasing reflection up there on the wall. Very nice. Yes. So I stumbled across this segment, and I put some images, to it. And one of the things I used to think about was, when if I'm going to put images, it has to be something really cool and funky. And then I was watching one of my favourite bands. You guys that join me here a lot know that I love the band Dry Cleaning. They're brilliant. And when they share a video, unless it's sort of a proper promo when they're in a studio or whatever it's going to be, they sometimes just get one segment of something. And I think I watched one the other day where it's just a cat climbing, like a CCTV thing almost, in someone's garden, of a cat walking up to a fence, going through it, and then slowly walking across. And they just repeated that on a loop. And they've done that before. I think the drummer was ice skating in one of them. Is it Alice Calls from the Arctic? Is that song called? Is it Alice? But anyway, yeah. So I thought, what? It doesn't really matter. So anyway, I put some video clips from stuff that I've filmed on tours and stuff like that, and put it together. But anyway, the basic idea is not for us to look at it as a kind of Stanley Kubrick amazing video or something. It's just some visuals to go along with the music. And the music, which is, I guess, the important bit, I decided before COVID that I was going to make self-fund this album. And I wanted to have some that I wrote that were songs. With my limited melodic knowledge, I tend to have to work with vibes and sounds that I can find, and the changes aren't that complex unless I stumble across something by mistake, which makes me go, oh, that's quite good. And then one of my muso friends later will tell me, oh, that's quite good what you did there. Yeah, I'm always dealing mostly with the rhythm part of it, and the arrangement part of it, and the dynamics. That's what I can do from the drum chair. That's what I do with all the people that I've ever worked with. People say that I frame their songs, beautifully. And that's the idea, to put the right drum part with the right sound, the right vibe, the right dynamic, the right mood and feel in that particular tune, whatever that might be, whether it be a prog rock thing or a folk thing or a jazz thing, or a punk thing. It's whoever I've worked with. And as you know, there's a plethora of artists I've worked with. So I decided to go in and think, right, well, I'm just going to press record, and I'm going to set a click up, and I'm just going to play, and I'm going to orchestrate as I go. And that kind of thing I pulled from Talk, the last two Talk albums, which were Spirit of Eden and Laughing Stock. And I know there's a hell of a lot of splicing involved there, and I really was trying to compose on the spot. But it was the idea of just letting people play, and then we'll chop it up later. And of course, the famous Miles Davis albums, like In a Silent Way, and Jack Johnson was done in that way. And Pitches Brew, I think, sort of chopped up and then put together as a product afterwards, as a song, rather than, here's the arrangement, chaps, here we go, which kind of turned me on a bit. I was like, that's a really interesting way of making music, and really different from what I'm used to. So I had that freedom. So the one you're going to hear has been called many things. I'm not sure what I'm going to call it now. Until I edit the video, I'll call it a name. Was from an 8-minute drum jam or ramble, where sometimes I would stop, and I'm just sat in the room with the click going. And I'd sort of wait. I think, okay, later on I'm going to put music on top of this. So let's just wait a bit. And I feel like just playing the ride now. Oh, I'm playing a Latin-y thing. Oh, well, there you go. It was really just like that, to see what was happening at that time in the studio. Of course, it was Narm Studios, of course. Thanks, Nick. And just playing what came to me. And it was just inspiring. And it means that when I took it home and I loaded it up, and into Logic, and then I started looking at what was there. I was thinking, okay, what's synth sounds? And I'd look at it in sections, because it wasn't just one whole drum thing. I was trying to compose and put little stabs in that could be interesting to hit later on when I get home. So the idea was to play the drums and then put the track to the drums, rather than usually the track's done and then you got to put the drum track to it. You know what I mean? Which is what I normally do when I'm working with an artist, and that's how you do it, you know. Whether it's in a classic situation where you're playing it in a room with the band and you're sort of filing it down and getting it sorted and getting rid of the rough edges and then record it and track it, or whether it's me coming into stuff that's already recorded to a click and I just come along and play, or without a click sometimes. That could be interesting. Yeah. Yeah, so it was, because it's my thing, I can make and break the rules. There are no rules, so I'd come in and just do what I want as I wanted. And I did a few tracks like that, and some are more classic song forms that I did, but that's for another chat. So yeah, so what you're going to watch in a minute is just improvised drums, some of it to a click, some of it not, some of it on the grid, some of it not, and then looking at the challenge of making something happen around that drum part. And it's so subjective. Some people, I've played things like this to, and they, you know, they're not into it, and that's totally fine. I'll sooner have that reaction than everyone liking it or everyone disliking it. People get it at different times, or they don't get it at all, and I think that's good. As I've always said here, some of my favourite artists are sort of Marmite artists. You either love them or you hate them, or dislike them. Hate's a strong word. So yeah, so see what you think. Feel free to leave comments below or email me or whatever. I hope you enjoy it. I'm not going to come back after the segment. I'm just going to plop it on the end of this so you can see it. Yeah, let me know what you think. And maybe it's something that you guys could think about doing. You know, recording in the practice room some drum ideas, 2-3 minute length or whatever, with gaps, or maybe sometimes without any gaps. It just go, you know, without any pauses of the music or any rest. You just go straight through, and see if you can compose something after the event. It's an interesting task, and one that, you know, I could, you know, the thing is, I could come back tomorrow and look at this video and this piece differently. I could take some bits off and add more of this, or I could send it to a friend and say, hey, play bassoon on it or something. You know, the options are, it's wide open, it's brilliant. And that's, as I say, one of the reasons why I love it. So it's kind of a conceptual, you know, without being too chin strokey and pretentious about it. But anyway, see what you think. Like or dislike, it's all good. You know, it's all drum love. So take care, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy it. Please leave some comments. Keep liking, keep subscribing, keep sharing. It's really working. And I'll speak to you soon.